That's trash.
I think your haircut is not terrible, but the top is not
It's
very
not
good.
terrible.
Top's not very good.
It's not great. It's not
I don't
especially
like how
for
curly
this.
it is. I don't like the wavy, weird
That's what I'm
curls.
saying. Like, no matter what I do, it falls down.
It's not
Like,
a
I
good
wore a
cut
hat.
right there.
I wore a hat to like pin it back today, and this pinned back.
Yeah, I don't like the little. I don't like the floof thing here.
It's the zoomer, like super short side, super puffy top. I'm like, I just don't.
Yeah, I don't like it.
That's not me. I'm too old for that.
It's true.
I look good with one kind of hair, and it's not this.
It's a mullet. It's a nice mullet.
Yeah. Yeah. When do we get a? Go for it. Whatever.
Whatever. Hello and welcome to the Dagoboys, Sidescape's Star Wars themed podcast. Today, Hunter Phillips over here and Jake Burke are going to talk about episode 4, part 4 of Obi Wan Kenobi. Our spoiler-filled thoughts. Hunter, we talked about
I do love that. Yes, we did.
What were you going to say? What do you love?
I love that it's part 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's not names. It's nothing.
I love that. I love that so much. Hunter, before we dive into this, do you wish this show was just called Kenobi?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
That's how I feel too.
Especially because I think everyone's just calling it Kenobi.
I know. And Solo was a cool name. I know just doesn't matter what you thought about Solo.
Cool movie. Great movie.
Cool name. And do you know where that name came from? He was alone. He was by himself at the airport.
Solo, huh?
Yep. All right, let's talk about it. Part 4, Hunter. What'd you think of Obi Wan Kenobi? Oh, full spoilers. We're just diving into this. Obi Wan's rescue of Leia at a Fortress Inquisitorius.
Yeah, it was an episode. It was a little bit of a letdown. I didn't think it was great. I didn't think it was bad. I didn't think it was fantastic. I think it had the potential to be very, very, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of fell flat, is how I felt.
Yeah.
Yeah, how about you?
No, that's kind of how I felt. I thought it was a good concept of like kind of showing Obi-Wan get his groove back. Essentially, it's like this 30-minute episode. It's the shortest episode by like a lot. This episode is about like how Obi-Wan kind of gets his Jedi flow back, and you see that from like the very beginning. He can barely move like the little like metal piece on. It's like
whatever it was.
Yeah, whatever it was. Like, wow, he's really struggling with that. To like by the end, this guy's like fucking throwing water at people, and that was cool.
Very cool what he does. Very fast turn, but that's not what I have issues with.
No, because I don't think like he's not like got to relearn how to use the Force. He's just been so disconnected that like he like can't easily grasp what he used to, and like the more he does it, he's probably just able to flow right into it.
But I just think it was such a those are two extremes, right? We beginning of the episode, he can't move this tiny little thing, and he's struggling with that.
Mm-hmm.
And I get that he's like, he's jumping in head first, and he has to do this, otherwise he and Leia dies. And you do kind of see him like he's blocking the lasers, and maybe he doesn't do great, and then he picks it up. But I just feel like those are such different things that it's like it's weird to show him struggling with this tiny thing, and then he's fine with these giant tasks.
I also think that maybe it has something to do with like him using the Force to protect Leia. Is like when in the second episode he was able to hold her from falling, and he used the Force there and then kind of lost it again. So I'm kind of but I do see what you're saying. It was a weird build-up of events. I do think it is. It's so bizarre that this is just the end of Fallen Order.
Right.
This is just out of the video game. He does the same thing. He enters the same way.
I was just gonna say.
They enter the exact same way into the base. And at the beginning of the episode, sorry, Hunter, I'm just going to roll it because I had thoughts about this. They literally go, it'd be crazy to attack this place. No one's ever done it. It's impossible. And I'm like, no. Someone did do it. Like earlier. And also flooded the base.
Same thing.
The same exact thing. I mean, sure, it's probably covered up. But like, Star Wars canon being like, it's all together. That was my first time being like, do you really care that it's all together?
What'd you think about seeing the Fortress Inquisitorius in live action?
Very cool.
Very cool.
Right? It's such a cool location. The underwater base, and like I just think it's a very cool location. Very unique. We don't have a lot of that in Star Wars, like underwater. I mean, we do. The Gungans. Can't forget Boss Nass's place.
Well, nah, man. They were first. They did it best.
Ubuntu Eve or whatever it's called. I don't know what it's called. No, Ubuntu Eve is a Tatooine. There's something like that. Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, I liked seeing it in live action, and
it's a Gungan city. It's a hidden city.
It's where I grew up. I've been banished. You're banished for being clumsy. What a fucking dumb character.
What a dumb character.
But yeah, I really like I love the idea that Obi-Wan's got to go rescue her, like being a Jedi again. What are you thinking about?
Yeah.
What are you thinking about?
Nothing. You're good. Don't worry about it.
All right, just making sure. But yeah, no, I do like that. I like that, like that's like how he's got to get his Jedi groove, is like to go save Leia and be like that swashbuckling kind of Obi-Wan that he has been.
Yeah, for sure.
But like I've done this before. I've done this rescue mission like in a game 2 years ago, so it felt a little weird that we're just kind of doing the same thing.
Yeah. And I do think those are, I mean, I get why they did it, because it's a relatively small portion of the Star Wars fan base that had played the games and is watching this, versus like someone like Tracy who has not played the games but is watching this for the first time. It's like, oh, that's very cool.
Mm-hmm.
But also, it is kind of like you just reuse the same beats like to a T.
Yeah,
and you could have changed some things a little bit, like.
And there are certain sequences in this show, like in the first episode with Leia, like running away from the people, like in the forest, and like how can nobody catch this 10-year-old girl? There's a few times this episode where they'll like hide from stormtroopers or from like people, and you're like okay, I gotta suspend my disbelief. Just like it's just okay. That feeling always feels weird. Like I didn't have a problem with like Leia in the coat, because like the Empire, they just let stuff slide. Like shit happens, and like Luke and Han infiltrated the Death Star. Like, okay, whatever, it happens.
Yeah.
But like that moment of like,
but the control center scene when she's choking out the dude, and it's like, and then she walks out, and there's like 3 people at the computer desks, and it's like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, that was a little weird. Yeah. Yeah, are you talking about like when she takes the guy like behind the computers?
Yeah.
And then she has a scene where Reva later, I really like this character Tala, and I want to talk about her a little bit, but
100%.
But when Reva like leaves her, and she's like, oh, the girl's been taken over, and she like leaves, and then there's 2 other stormtroopers, and like right after Reva leaves, Tala like does like her like solid snake stuff and takes them down. I'm like, okay, like I guess the doors, maybe there was like 4 doors and they closed, but like that was a really quick takedown.
Like, yeah. 100%.
Yeah, so like, there's always just like a weird, slight like off directing choice sometimes in this, like how they do like almost like covert stuff. It's not handled very well.
I also didn't love in the beginning. Well, I like the beginning because you see Obi-Wan on the stretcher and he's in this like haze, and it's like Tal's like, "Hey Ben, stay with me. Come on, like you got to push through this." I thought it was very cool. And we see the beginning of the rebellion. It's these people who are like doing these small little acts, and well, they're all part of the path and all that.
Yeah, it is. I mean,
it's. I would assume it's the start of the rebellion.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
But we see. I don't remember his name. The black guy with Tala and.
Oh, it's O'Shea Jackson's the actor.
Okay, I don't.
I'll look up his name.
Okay, but I didn't love how like Ben is like, "Hey, get me in there," like. Obi-Wan is like, hey, like I need to save this person. Like they took this person who means a lot to me.
Yeah.
And he's just like, we all know what the Empire can do, blah, blah, blah. And he really doesn't want to do it. And then Obi-Wan says one thing, and then he's like,
I'll do it.
Obi-Wan says like, you don't know what the Empire can do. And then he's like, hey, they took my wife. Like we tried to conceal her. You know what? I'm in. I'll help you. And it's like, it was such a fast turn.
Okay, it was a fast turn, but his wife was a Force user.
Very cool.
I love that, and I feel like he then was like, I do have some sympathy for you. And like what these people are. But I do get it. It was a really weird. That was a weird scene, just in general.
I just don't love that it was 30 seconds and 20 seconds he's not into it, and then 10 seconds he's you know what, let's do it.
He should have just been in from the beginning, like And like his reasoning is because like I hate the Inquisitors too.
Or like it could have been something where like Obi-Wan has to like uses the Force and like. He doesn't know that he's a Jedi or something, and like he's like, "Oh shit! Like you can use the Force. Like my wife could do that too. You know what? I'll help you."
Yeah,
that kind of thing.
I would agree. It was a weird scene. A lot of that, like I like the idea that Obi-Wan's kind of getting involved with the rebellion. I'm hoping that like the next episode, I think 5 and 6, I'm hoping are much meatier, deeper episodes. I'm kind of bummed this is like how the 4th episode went. From like a. I thought we were going to get a lot more Darth Vader, Anakin stuff like that. We're like, now we're here.
100%.
And I feel
especially because like, sorry.
No. I think we're probably talking the same thing.
Just because before this episode, people were speculating, hey, like at the end of episode 3, he was messed up. He's going to need a back to tank. Like,
flashbacks.
what are we going to see? Like, are we going to see some Clone Wars era flashbacks, which would have been awesome? Like, have Hayden back as Anakin, him back as Obi-Wan from the Clone Wars, from the
Yeah.
prequel era. And it's like, are we going to see like a really cool flashback episode? And kind of bummed we didn't. And I think it would have been a little bit more enjoyable. But
Yeah, like, and I don't even know if you need, like, I do agree. Like, I think the flashback thing would be really cool to see. I just want more Vader, and like I think this show should have equal amounts like Anakin struggle as well with this situation.
yeah,
And we don't have that yet, and I'm hoping we kind of get that because like Vader is only in the very end of this episode for like 5 seconds because he's mad. How fast did he move? Impressive walk.
Dude was speed walking.
He's like, "Fuck you, man. Fuck you, rebel. I'm coming." I did like, so I wanted to talk about Tala really quick because I want to talk about like what Obi-Wan does. I think it's, but Tala I thought was a great character with just how she kind of navigated Obi through it. I thought like the guy in the chair role that she played was very entertaining. I loved when, she's got the comm link at the very end after Reva and her talk, and then Obi-Wan like talks through the comm link. Like, that's a very Star Wars-y like moment of like, shit. But then I thought like her back and forth with Reva and like matching her was awesome. It was a great,
especially because like I thought that she was going to get caught like right away, and like she played it off very well, and like she Reva, you could kind of tell like Reva wasn't sure what real story was there.
She's got a great turn where Reva's like, "No, I know you're a spy," and she goes, "Yeah, I was a spy for you." On the inside, they thought I was a spy for them. Like, I'm your spy, and Reva's like, I don't know if that's right. Like, it's such a great moment. I can't.
Which also goes back to what we talked about in episode 2 review, 1 and 2, but where like she can read minds, right? Why wouldn't she be able to be like, "Hey, are you lying?" Like, I'm gonna force read your mind and see what the real truth is here.
Yeah, it's the thought of like, why isn't she just reading everybody's mind?
True.
But no, but I understand. Yeah.
That aside, I did love how like Tala is like one of my favorite characters in this show. She's awesome.
I hope she's in more. I hope like she's like a consistent rebellion character that we see throughout. I think it would be really cool.
Yeah.
I also love the Reva Leia scene where Leia's like outsmarting Reva as well. Like I think my favorite moment of that whole scene was the point where like she finally gets a moment. She goes, "Okay, like I'll tell you where the planet is," but she's like, "But I got to tell my dad first because like we're all on the same side, right?" It's like I got to tell my dad first. And I was like, that was really good. Good job, Leia.
I just got heavy How I Met Your Mother vibes from Leia because there's one episode of How I Met Your Mother where Barney and Ted are at the airport trying to pick up chicks, and they have their suitcases that like the TSA thinks like are bombs or whatever, and they're being interrogated, and Barney just keeps on going, "We are diplomats we are businessmen on an international like business trip, blah blah blah." And he keeps on saying it, and Leia
what she was doing.
I am a senator's daughter, like I'm a princess,
princess
blah, blah,
of Alderaan.
Yeah, very funny.
I love that. I just think it shows like I just think Leia, they're doing a great job with young Leia. They really are.
Yeah. Well, plus you see her resist the force powers of Reva, which is super cool.
Yeah, I love that. I'm really so kind of just foreshadowing or my thought about it. I wonder if we get a scene where Obi-Wan realizes that she's got the Force too.
Force sensitive.
And then maybe he talks to Bala Organa and is like, I want to train her. Because in episode 5, Empire Strikes Back, there's the line where Luke is leaving to go fight Vader, and Obi-Wan says, "That boy's our last hope." Mm-hmm. He knows Leia. I mean, I know like retroactively, but I feel like that's a big thing to miss out on. So I'm wondering if almost Bela was like, we're not getting her involved in this Jedi shit. Like she's.
But does he not already know? Because he's. Well, I guess I don't know. Like why would he assume that Luke is, but she isn't? Because in episode 2, maybe 1, I don't remember. But Owen says like, you don't care about the boy. You only care if he's showing. Like you only care if he's showing force powers.
Yep.
And it's like, why wouldn't he assume that Leia also has it? So maybe we will get a scene. I don't know if it's like he discovers it or if he's like, okay, yeah, she actually is force sensitive.
She actually is force sensitive. Yeah. I hope she doesn't like use the Force. I don't want to see that.
No. I don't. Do we just get a mini Last Jedi scene of her? She gets blown out of a 10-year-old her gets flown out into space and she.
You know what, Hunter? I'll be honest. I want that now more than anything. I want that. That's Leia's move. That's Leia's move.
Because he just doubles down on it.
Oh, it'd be so fucking funny. It'd be so terrible. She's like out in space, and then you see like her fingers like. She flies forward. Okay,
Yeah.
Hunter, I want to ask you about maybe one of the coolest shots though in Star Wars.
Sure.
Leia's captured in this red room with 2 stormtroopers, and the lights go out, and all you see is the red, the white, and a blue lightsaber.
So fucking
And then
cool.
he goes to the next one. Oh my god, it was so cool. It was just so cool.
So rad.
It was
That was
so fun.
yeah, like an amazing shot. Like that was one
Yeah.
of the best shots in like you said, just in Star Wars in general.
Yeah.
Like that was super rad.
It was so cool. It made me like, yes, Obi-Wan is awesome. Like that was so cool.
Yeah.
He is awesome. And I really
100%.
liked the water bit. It sounds like you didn't love it, but I liked that use of the Force and like how he solved that situation. I thought was really
So
cool.
not that I didn't love it. I think it's very, very cool. And I think it's a really cool shot, really cool idea. I love what he's doing. I just don't love that we see him struggle so hard in the beginning to do something very mundane, something very easy. And then all of a sudden he's holding back
Water.
thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds of pressure from the water. Like it just seems
Size matters not.
Yoda did say that.
Yeah.
He did say that.
I'm just saying.
But I mean, I did think it was cool. Like, he's holding it back and he's like concentrating on deflecting the bullet bolts while he's holding the water back. I did like that scene a lot. I just didn't love how he is so now he can like do these 2 very difficult things at once when before he couldn't.
Now that we're just talking about this, I want to pick your brain on an idea.
Yeah.
All right, Qui-Gon's whole thing, Qui-Gon Jinn, because obviously Qui-Gon Jinn is coming back in the show. We're seeing or hearing Liam Neeson.
I hope so.
100%.
Yeah.
It's a very it'd be wild if that he isn't at this point because they keep saying his damn name. It'd be so awesome he just never shows up. Big old tease. He was all about like using the Force to help people and like have relationships with people and like it was okay to like love someone and like really care for someone because that is good for the Force.
He was all about the living Force, not the cosmic Force.
And Obi-Wan's starting to have to do that, is like use the Force to protect and care for people. And I'm wondering if that's what he and Qui-Gon are going to talk a little bit about too.
Maybe, yeah.
I don't know. That'd be
cool.
That'd be kind of cool. Last thing, Hunter, before we wrap up. Oh, you more on that theory.
I mean, we were just going to talk. I mean, I was saying like it seems like the only way to become one with the Force and become a Force ghost is by tapping into the living Force. So obviously, I mean, Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan are going to have to talk about how, hey, well, they're not going to talk about this specifically in the show, but like, how the Jedi Council was so far off of what the Force should be and what Jedi should be doing with the Force, because they were all about cosmic Force and trying to do right versus wrong and all that versus what the living Force wants you to do, which be just, hey, even if you know that person's a bad person, like, help him, right?
Yeah.
There's a comic strip. I was just reading it on Marvel Unlimited, but it's like an anthology issue, just like random like snippets, and it's Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon when Obi-Wan was a Padawan, and they're on this like random planet or whatever, and their ship gets taken down, and they're running through the forest and all that, and they come across this village, and it's this like I forget what the species is, but it's this like scummy looking species who is like known to lie and cheat and like kill people, and he's like asking for help, and Qui-Gon is like super down to help him, like they want to save his life, or he wants to save his life, help him out, give him food, and Obi-Wan is like, hey, like these are the guys that like hurt us before, like he's a bad guy, like what are you doing? And Qui-Gon talks about how the living Force dictates that I help him even if I know he's a bad guy, even if I know that he's going to turn his back on me like right away. So that's just interesting about the living Force versus.
That's interesting. And that's kind of what the Darth Vader arc is, right? Yeah.
Yeah, just doing good no matter what versus what you think is right versus wrong.
Yeah, and that's what the Jedi get bogged down in, is what's right, what's wrong. That's interesting. That's really cool.
Yeah. Before we finish up, how cool was seeing Purge Troopers for the first time in live action?
Very
right?
cool.
Like,
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
And Hunter, the tomb.
The what?
The tomb.
The tomb, dude. I forget his name. It's
I've been hearing it all day.
It starts a T and there's an S.
Tara Sinube. Tara Sinube?
Tara Sinube, yeah, Sinube. from that one arc in Clone Wars
He
where
helps Ahsoka.
Ahsoka loses her lightsaber and he has to help her and he teaches her patience.
Yeah.
And he's this old ass dude and like she wants to rush forward. It's Aura Singh and
Oh yeah.
another bounty hunter who takes her lightsaber and she wants to rush ahead because she's pretty strong headed and because she's Anakin's Padawan, right?
Yeah.
And she just wants to like, hey, like I know where they're going. Let's just go right now. And he like is all about patience. He's moving super slowly and teaches her all these lessons. And we see him frozen in time. He's dead. Yeah. Like wild.
I mean, they are all dead, but there's a fucking youngling in his cap.
Dude, how brutal was that?
I know. I'm really fascinated at how much more we're going to get of this tomb. This is all leading to the Palpatine resurrection stuff. They're gonna do. Hey, at this point, let Dave Filoni do what he's doing because he made the prequels fun and good and interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, this guy is now having to do this with the sequels.
Yes.
He's doing that, and let's just let him do it. Let him figure this out. He's building all this cool, interesting cloning stuff, and let's just see. Let's clone some more people.
This ties into Mandalorian where they need Grogu for their cloning, for their Force-sensitive cloning stuff.
Yep.
And this ties into this.
So I'm fascinated to see how much more we get about this tomb thing because that's very interesting. It's wild. It's very wild. But
very cool. I think I forget there were some other cameos people thought were there, but they weren't sure. Yeah. But it was for sure the I keep wanting to say Harris and Dooley, which isn't true at all. The Jedi Master.
The guy we just talked about.
Yeah, for sure him and the youngling. Very, very cool.
Mm-hmm.
I'll have to look in and see what the other.
There didn't seem to be a bunch of cameos. I was looking into it today. It didn't seem like a lot of people were spotting a bunch of stuff. So there wasn't like there's this Jedi and this Jedi and this Jedi. It seemed pretty like Tara Sanube was like the main one.
But it's cool because like that's the same kind of similar to what we see in Rebels with Master Barriss Offee's Master. I forget.
Yeah. Shoot, I know you're talking about.
Yeah. The green chick with the little
Luminar. Some of the
Luminara Unduli.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
Is that it?
Yep.
But it's like the same kind of thing where like they used her bones to like bring Jedi to her or to them by way of her.
Yeah.
Very cool. Like this is like not similar, but it's like kind of the same thing. Like they just have these Jedi Masters on display.
It's so
cool.
It's rad. Very cool. I'm very curious in how they're going to wrap this all into the cloning stuff.
So, what did you think? I'm just going to jump. Do you have anything else to talk about before?
Yeah. No. I'm pretty much done.
The end, that last like 5 minutes, what did you think about their escape? After Obi-Wan floods the chamber, is kind of back into his Force self, and she's underneath the trench coat.
I was a little bummed that he didn't like swashbuckle his way out of it and have a cool little scene. That being said, we got 2 more episodes for Obi-Wan to have this awesome like I'm Obi Wan Kenobi moment, and he hasn't gotten that fully yet, and I don't think we're supposed to have that yet.
Yeah, I agree.
I was gonna say I liked I loved the ending with them on the ship and Leia holding his hand and everything. I thought like all of that worked very well. But yeah, I thought the ending of like the snow speeders are here and they got us out.
It was just like it was very much like too convenient. It was too like, hey, this wasn't like Obi-Wan didn't have to, like you said, work his way out of it. He didn't have to find a solution. He didn't have to like be the Obi-Wan that we love. It was just like, hey, it's kind of like they set it up earlier. Like there's no shields because no one's dumb enough to attack it, and it's just like that's just too convenient. And I didn't love it.
Well, and R.I.P. Wade. Wade's
R.I.P.
gone.
Wade. He's gone.
People are asking for a Disney Plus show about Wade. They want to know his backstory.
We'll get it, man. We'll get it one day.
Hunter, give me, before we end the show, I want to know one prediction for episode 5. Just what's your one prediction?
So I think, like you were talking about, we get this Obi-Wan power-up scene.
Mm-hmm.
I think that starts at the end of episode 5. We see Qui-Gon's Force Ghost. He's like, hey, Obi-Wan, get your shit together, dog. Like, you are just a fucking sad dude. Like, step it up being a bit. Kill the past. Forget the past because you have to. Whatever Kylo Ren said. Yeah. No, but I think we see Qui-Gon come back with the Force Ghost, or at least talk to Obi-Wan through dreams, through Obi-Wan meditating, whatever it is. And then that kind of sparks him coming into full strength Obi-Wan again.
Mm-hmm.
So I think, if not all of that in episode 5, we'll at least see Qui-Gon episode 5, and then episode 6 is him coming into full power and then fighting Vader at the end again.
I think so too. I think I think the end of this episode is coming up. I think we kind of say goodbye to Leia. I think that we're not gonna have another thing where she's captured or something. I think that would be a lot. I hope we say goodbye to Leia.
Yeah.
I think we've done enough with her, where it's been really fun and we haven't burned her out yet. But I think we're getting close.
Yeah.
I think the next episode ends with just Liam Neeson's voice saying something to Obi-Wan, and then it just cuts to black. It'd be cool.
That'd be cool.
That's my prediction.
I like it. I'm
very excited. I have a really good prediction for the 6th episode, but we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see how where we are in the next episode if it just ruins everything. So yeah.
You can tell me off air.
Of course. All right. Thank you so much for watching our kind of reaction thing to part 4 of Obi Wan Kenobi. We'll be back next week with part 5.